Come back to those nights, my horror night.
Welcome to the Last Video Store. Do you want to party? Because I do, because it's May of the Dead. Super excited. One of my favorite times of the year. Number one, because we're so much closer to Halloween. And then number two, we get to talk about all the cool, fun, amazing zombie movies out there. In today's episode specifically, I got it right, special, because I get to talk about my all-time favorite movie, and that is 1985's The Return of the Living Dead. So let's talk about the history of the movie before we actually talk about the movie, because I'm going to step out of the recommendation and I want to give a full review because, like I said, it's my favorite movie. It's been a lifelong favorite since I was a small child. It's several reasons which I'm going to get to. It's not just because we get to see Linnea Quigley's boobs and she dances on the headstone, which that is a big reason, but there's so much more to this movie than that. So in 1968, George A. Romero and John Russo, they partnered up for Night of the Living Dead. And it was one of the most iconic zombie movies at that time, still one of the most iconic zombie movies of this time. Well, shortly afterwards, they kind of wanted to go in each a separate direction to go with it, because they co-wrote the movie together. George A. Romero directed it, and they really just couldn't agree which side to do it on. Will we take the Russo side, or will we take the Romero side? So they split up, and they each took a part of it. That's why it was Night of the Living Dead, and then Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and John Russo got the Living Dead portion. So he had wrote a companion piece or novelization. Let's just say he wrote a novel first. And I think he had did another novelization when the movie came close to the original script, because the book that came out is very different to the scripted movie that we actually have now. And it's pretty much these punks and these employees of a medical facility, like a medical equipment facility, versus a bunch of undead zombies. So 1985 was a huge punk scene. They wore their leather, they wore their chains, they had their mohawk, they had attitude, and pretty much they're still around to this day, except they dress completely different. So I'm going to add all kind of clips into this episode because, like I said, I'm so excited to talk about it. I could talk about this movie for days, but I'm going to keep it as short as possible. So, Unita Medical Facility. It is owned by Bert. Bert is played by John Gulager. He was a cowboy actor back in the day. His son pretty much directed the Feast movies, if you've seen those. Anyway, I'm getting way ahead of myself. So Clu Gulager is his name, not yet. Yeah, that's why I fucked it up. Clu Gulager. So he plays Bert, and he owns Unita Medical Supply. And it is this medical facility. It has skeletons, it has skulls, it has split dogs, it has cadavers, it has pretty much you think a doctor's office and hospital and medical facility needs. But it also has some barrels that was left behind from the 60s from the military experiment gone wrong with the Darrow Chemical Company. But how about I let Frank tell it right here.
Frank?
Yeah, kid.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever saw in here?
Kid, I have seen weird things come and I have seen weird things go. But the weirdest thing I ever saw just had to cap it all.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Let me ask you a question, kid. Did you see that movie, Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah. That's the one where the corpses start eating the people, right? Sure. What about it?
Did you know that movie was based on a true case?
Oh, come on, you're shitting me, right?
I ain't never been more serious in my life.
That's not possible. I mean, they showed zombies taking over the world.
Well, they changed it all around. What really happened was, back in 1969 in Pittsburgh at the VA hospital, there was a chemical spill, and all that stuff kind of leaked down into the morgue, and it made all the dead bodies kind of jump around as though it was alive.
What chemical?
2,4,5-trioxin, it's called. It was to kind of spray on marijuana or something, and the Darrow Chemical Company was trying to develop it for the Army. And they told the guy who made the movie that if he told the truth, true story, they'd just sue his ass off. So he changed all the facts around.
So what really happened?
Well, they closed it all down, see? And the army shipped all that contaminated dirt and all those dead bodies out. And they kept it a secret.
Well, so how come you know about it?
What typical army fuck up? The transportation department got the orders crossed. And they shipped those bodies here.
So Frank and Freddie, employee of UNITA, they have our main focus at this point. James Karen played Frank, the older male, and Tom Matthews played Freddie in this movie. They also came back for part 2, but we're going to talk about it on the next episode. But Tom Matthews was also in Friday the 13th, part 6, Jason Lives. So definitely has a longer career ahead of them. So pretty much like Frank was saying, was that the events of Night of the Living Dead actually happened, but it was a little bit different to what the movie portrayed. And that the Dare Company and the military got together and make this chemical, and these barrels of chemicals was supposed to go to one place, but it ended up as UNITA, and it's pretty much been hanging out in the basement, you know, where Mind the Third Step is a bitch. And they pretty much come across it, open it up, and there is a dead guy in it. And do these things leak?
There they are.
His body's in there? Oh, shit! Look at that! You say that thing was alive?
So they say.
Oh, God. Hey, these things don't leak, do they?
Leak? Hell no. These things were made by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
And we get our title card. So around the same time, Freddie's girlfriend Tina, she's hanging out with her punk friends. We got Mark Venturini as Suicide. He was in Friday the 13th Part 5 along with Miguel Nunez Jr., who played Spider in this movie. He was Demons in Part 5. He was the crooner who got killed in the outbox, you know, the Joanna Man, and he was also in Life. He was I think Biscuit was his character. Anyway, I'm getting way ahead of myself. We get Joel Shepard, who has that little weird wig mohawk, but my favorite. And my favorite actress of all times. I get to meet her in a couple months at a convention that I'm working at, and it is the wonderful Linnea Quigley, who's playing Trash. So we get a car full of these 7 punks, and technically Tina's kind of just... Anyway, all these people are friends with Freddie, and they're pretty much waiting for Freddie to get off. They're a fun, rowdy crowd. Now, one of them is a complete piece of shit, played by Scuzz. I'm not going to say his name because he's a convicted sex offender, but I'm just going to move past it. Not give him any time of day, and we're just going to keep on going with this review. So they pretty much have to wait a couple hours for Freddie to get off, and they don't know what to do, and they think to themselves, hey, why don't we go fuck around in the cemetery?
Hey, that's Freddie!
Yeah, what the fuck is Freddie up these days anyway?
He got himself a job.
Oh, no shit. What job?
He's a stockroom clerk.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a shitty job.
Well, it isn't the President of the United States, but these teammates stuff like your buy stuff.
Oh, yeah, maybe you buy something from me, huh?
You don't like your cool stuff, Suicide.
How come you guys only come around when you need a ride someplace? Not you really motherfuckers. So you did no smoking, huh? What the fuck? Man, what a hideous, ugly place.
I like it. It's a statement.
Come on, let's go get the prick.
No, it might forget his boss.
Well, that's not nice.
Yeah, what does he think we are? Weird or something?
What time does Freddie get off?
10 o'clock.
I ain't sitting here 2 fucking hours.
Oh, we could always go drive around.
I don't got gas. You want to buy some gas, idiot?
I was kidding. We could go fool around in there for a while.
You mean that cemetery? Oh,
Oh, let's do that.
What do you want to do, Scuzz? Turn over gravestones?
No, I just want to look around the graveyard. I ain't never seen one before.
Ain't you never been to a funeral?
I never knew nobody that died.
I don't think it's such a good idea.
What's that? Road flares, asswipe.
What do you want with those?
I just want to party. What are the roses flares for?
And this place is a mess.
So Freddie and Frank had been knocked out from the chemical from the 2,4,5-trioxin. They awaken, and pretty much the gas and the vapors, it went everywhere. The body that was in the canister is now missing, and spooky things are happening. You can see the little pinned butterflies are starting to flap their little wings. The split dogs are starting to bark and holler and whatnot. And somebody's beating on the walls in the freezer. And yes, it is the orange cadaver. So they don't know what to do, so they figured, hey, let's call the boss, and we get Bert to come back. Pretty much assess the situation. And I guess they start talking about the movie, because it's the funny thing. They explain, hey, if we destroy the brain, we can destroy this thing because it works in the movie. And we'll get to that. So they pretty much devise a plan that they have to jump in front of this, and they have to take care of it before he goes to prison, before the business gets shut down, or the whole fucking world gets taken over by zombies. So at this point right now, the cadaver is beating on the freezer door, and they have to let it out and take care of it.
Get him off, Frank! Have him pinned, Frank! Hold it! What the hell's going on, Bert? The brain! The brain! I hit the fucking brain! Then do something else, for goddammit, the hell's sake! Hold him down, Frank. Christ, it ain't dying! I thought you said if we destroyed the brain, it'd die. It worked in the movie! Well, it ain't working now, Frank. You mean the movie line?
So they cut the cadaver into many smaller pieces. I guess they could have did more, but hey, you know, sometimes we freak it out. We can't get down to the nitty gritty. So next door, there's this crematorium where Bert has been friends with Ernie, who runs it. Yes, Bert and Ernie. I don't think it was very. I don't think they did that on purpose, but who knows? It's the 80s. Anyway, getting way ahead of myself. So Ernie is played by Don Kaffa. He was very recognizable actor. He was in the Star Chamber, if you remember that movie with fucking Michael Douglas. He was the hitman from Weekends at Bernie's. But now he is this, and he was written to be a escaped Nazi. He's listening to the German marching music. He has pictures of Eva Braun on the background of his little pegboard, and he also has a Luger, which is a German pistol. So anyway, he is our mortician, funeral director, whatever the hell it is. So they decide to take all these pieces of the cadaver and try to go put it in the crematorium, burn it up. Everything is good. All is well.
Can you swear to keep a secret, Ernie?
At this point, I don't know.
No, you gotta swear. You got to. I can't tell you.
All right. I swear.
Good. It's not weasels in the bags. No kidding. Look at.
pretty much everything got burned up, and they think all is well. How groundskeeper Willie did. There, put it as a picture. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. So, with everything being burned up, like I said, all is well. But the vapors from this now burnt up cadaver is in the air, and we got acid rain, and it's now pouring down on the punks, but it's also pouring down on the nearby graveyard where these punks are hanging out at, and pretty much it awakes the dead.
Do you ever fantasize about being killed?
Never.
Do you ever wonder about all the different ways of dying? You know, violently? And wonder, like, what would be the most horrible way to die?
Try not to think about dying too much.
Well, for me, the worst way would be for a bunch of old men to get around me and start biting and eating me alive.
Holy shit, we're gonna have to swim to get over there. Damn it. What the fuck was that?
No, you're down!
I want to try to save her.
So at this point, shit has really hit the fan. The dead's arriving from the grave. Trash gets pretty much devoured because she had that scene early in the movie. You know, do you ever fantasize about being killed and what's the worst way of dying? And there's a bunch of old men to surround me and start eating me alive. What that actually happens? She gets eaten alive, pretty much in the nude in the middle of this graveyard in this burning ass acid rain. So the gang splits up. Half the group goes to the Uneeda Medical Supply. The other half go to the crematorium. And at this point, Frank and Freddie are starting to get sick from the chemical that they pretty much bathed in, or they get poured all over, whatever the hell it is. So they have to call some paramedics to check them out, but it doesn't work out for the paramedics.
Hey, you hear that? Yeah, what? Christ, Jesus. What is that? Sounds like people screaming. You get the stretchers. I'll get on the radio and phone this in.
right, so the paramedics has been taken out. They're pretty much fucked, and we get a couple of the punks inside the mortuary. They know for sure the shit is hitting the fan, so they're trying to board everything up. We get Surfing Dead, which was one of my favorite songs playing in the background. And let me just take the time to talk about the amazing soundtrack in this movie. All these cool punk rock songs in the early to mid 80s, they're just absolutely amazing. The Cramps was probably one of the coolest bands at the time period. And this is something that the original script, the storyline didn't call for, and the soundtrack was pretty much added on afterwards. And it really projected the movie to be more iconic than, I guess, it would have been without the punk music. But the score is absolutely amazing. I have the soundtrack on vinyl, and I pretty much fucking bump it all the time. So let's get back to the movie. So like I said, they board up. A couple of our characters get killed, and the body that was inside the canister, the 2,4,5-trioxin, did not dissolve like Frank said it did. It's actually awoken, and it is the Tar Man. So a lot of our characters are starting to die down. We got Piece of Shit's Gus, we got Suicide, we got Trash. So pretty much what's left, we have Casey and Chuck, the little dude that's wearing the suit. They're hiding out the You Need a Medical Supply. Tina has now joined with the mortuary people over there with Spider. And like I said, Scuzz was taken out. And she pretty much sees that Frank and Freddy are in the process of dying because, we had so early with the medics. There's lividity and rigor mortis and whatnot. They're pretty much fucked. So they kind of lock, well, I say kind of, they lock Frank and Freddy in the chapel, and Tina decides, hey, I want to stay in there. And just shit just starts to happen. We get a very cool scene where we see Freddy slowly start to die and turn.
Freddy!
I can finally see one thing. The one thing only that can leave this world with suffering.
What, Freddy? What?
Alive. Let's go.
So our medics who was killed, I guess that it's kind of raising some alarm with the local police departments. So we get 2 cops sent out over there, and they really don't last long. And this movie is actually the first American-made zombie movie where we have running zombies. So that's pretty cool. And this is the first zombie movie where they consume brains. So pretty much everything before that, there was just ghouls eating human flesh and whatnot, eating everything. But this one, they specifically focused on the brains.
Dispatch, this is Bravo 751. We're at the mortuary. We see 2 paramedic vehicles parked in the rear parking lot. The doors on one vehicle are hanging open. Stand by while we investigate. Over.
So we see that these zombies are pretty intelligent, and I don't know if that was the plan from the jump to kind of follow the George A. Romero, how the zombies pretty much regress back to their human form, and they're still the undead or what it was, because we get the zombies, you know, send more paramedics or send more cops, so we get some more police officers, and we see one of the officers pretty much come back, because in this movie, if you get bitten, you don't necessarily come back, and there's a whole lot of theories out there. I think it all has to do with the acid rain, because that police officer, you see him pretty much waving the flashlight when the cops come and they all get jumped on. He comes back, and then we also get Trash comes back. So I'm going to include both of those scenes. And again, it's because I think they were both devoured in the acid rain and the chemicals mixed with their body. And, you know, who knows? But that's my logic, and that's other people's logics. So Spider and Bert, they pretty much try to make it back to the You Need a Medical Supply to try to call the number on the canister. We get to see the Tar Man taken out. Ernie and Tina kind of wait behind, but we also have an awakened Freddy who's pretty much pissed. He's trying to get him, so they hide up in the attic. I don't know if that is like a Diary of Anne Frank thing. It just came to me. Anyway, Frank, for some reason, I don't know if it was right before he turned, but he put himself inside the crematorium. And that's not necessarily an important scene, so I'm just going to leave that out. But at this point, they try to contact the police to just try to make it out, but that doesn't go so well.
Yeah, you gotta help us. There's a bunch of us trapped inside your barricade here, and we can't get out of here.
First of all, mister, what the hell is going on there? I lost a dozen good men, and nobody can tell me jack shit.
Look, there are a bunch of people in the cemetery who are stark, staring, mad, and they'll kill you and eat you if they catch you. It's like a disease. It's like rabies, only faster. It's a lot faster. That's why you gotta come in here right now and get us the hell out of here right now. Please, please!
Oh, just a minute. I can't hear you. There's a lot of noise out here.
Hey, what the hell's going on?
Paul! I said Paul! Watch it, Steve! I'm crazy!
So everybody's getting fucked up at this time. The whole town's pretty much gone. So they go in the basement. Like I said, he had made the call to the police officer, talk with the captain for a little while. And we get the cool zombie Trash biting down. It always looks pretty cool. Going back to her dancing scene, this is pretty much common knowledge. But when they were making the movie, she was supposed to strip down and she had some pubic hair. And they had made the line, hey, we can't show pubic hair. So Linnea Quigley had took it upon herself to completely shave everything. And when they saw that she didn't have it anymore, they completely freaked out because we definitely can't show that. So they kind of made her a latex plug, slipped it in. That's why she kind of has the illusion of a Barbie doll. Anyway, that's not important. It's pretty cool. It's important to me, but you know what I'm saying. So at this point, they make contact with Colonel Glover, and I haven't really talked about him at this portion because he has been on this assignment since the 60s where the 245 trioxin barrels have been missing, and he's kind of his life's work to making it, so he has like a special microwave system or a special system in his house that's affecting his wife Ethel's microwave. So anyway, gets with Colonel Glover, they get the exact location, and they figured, hey, why don't we just nuke the whole town? And that's what happens.
Hey, listen. You hear anything?
Spectacular results, sir. Very close to optimal placement. Well, sir, only 20 square blocks destroyed. Less than 4,000 dead, General. I wouldn't worry about the fires, General. The rain is taking care of that right now. Well, there have been complaints about burning skin, but I shouldn't worry. Minor irritation, General. The rain will wash everything away. That's correct, sir. All should be back to normal by morning. Yes, sir, I understand the President will visit Louisville tomorrow. No, we wouldn't want that to happen, sir. No, sir, this hasn't been very pleasant for anyone. Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
So sadly, all of our movie characters are dead. They all died in the explosion along with other people. Like I said, all those blocks. Thousands of casualties, all is well. The rain's going to clear everything out, but fuck, that acid rain starts all over again, and that is the end of Return of the Living Dead. Return of the Living Dead was directed by Dan O'Bannon. He pretty much was tasked with writing Alien, and he was kind of a big deal for that. I think this was the first time he actually directed a movie. I believe he wrote Life Force, which Tobe Hooper directed, and Tobe Hooper was scheduled to be the initial director of this movie and stepped out to go do Life Force, so that's kind of a cool coincidence there. This movie pretty much has everything. Like I said, the zombies, not all of them looks awesome. Like I said, some of the background ones just look like they have paint and whatnot, but they're spooky. They run after you. They're pretty much unstoppable. Shooting doesn't do anything. Destroying the brain doesn't do anything. You're pretty much fucked. And even if you try to bomb them, just more and more is going to keep coming. So this movie was absolutely awesome. It did pave a way to the whole brain trope with the zombies craving brains and whatnot. So that was pretty cool. It was really, the characters were all great. The actors was all great except Scuzz. Fuck that dude. But the music was amazing. All our characters were pretty much likable except for that one piece of shit, which I'm going to stop right there. So this, like I said, this is my all-time favorite movie. You can pretty much find this everywhere. This is the VHS I've been having since the early 90s. I've had multiple copies of it on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. And I might show you some of them just because how much I love this movie. 5 out of 5 stars, definitely recommend it. You can find it streaming on Amazon. You could always find it for purchase. And like I said, the DVDs are always in print. So this movie is readily available. It is 41 years old. So if you haven't seen it, what's stopping you? But thank you for tuning into the last video store, May of the Dead. Like I said, I'm so excited to have May of the Dead. I'm going to do a retrospective continuing with the Return of the Living Dead movies. Next episode, we're going to do part 2. We're going to do part 3. I don't know if I'm going to combine 4 and 5 because there were 2 sci-fi channels made for TV movies that was filmed back to back, I believe in 2005. So yes, it's been 21 years since we've got a Return of the Living Dead movie. There is one in the works. I don't know if it's going to be great, but I'm definitely going to go watch it. But this movie's so iconic. Like I said, it pretty much created my love for Linnea Quigley. And I talk about her a hell of a lot, but that's okay. But all I can say is please like and subscribe. And watch your tongue, boy, if you like this job.
But asshole, watch your tongue, boy, if you like this job. Like this job.
All right, and as promised, there's a little special features. I have the 2 Funko Pops of Trash and Suicide. I have a little Tarman right here, the Toonie Terrors. I got these at a convention a couple years ago, and I found Trash and the Tarman at FYE a while back. I have the vinyl soundtrack I got a couple years back. I love that one. I had to put it in the frame. I got the 245 Trioxin Barrel. I got my little Tarman, another little Tarman, and the little NECA figures they made of Trash and Suicide. Let's see, I got a little, you need a sign. And I own multiple copies of this movie. It's one of the Blu-rays. Let's see, I got the little 4K steelbook, the original Scream Factory, the updated Scream Factory, an unopened copy. That's part 2, part 3. This was the original Blu-ray, so I was super excited when they put, original DVD. I was super excited when they put that one on DVD. Another copy of it. This was the 2-disc. And another copy. So, yeah, I spent a lot of money on Return of the Living Dead stuff. So, also another VHS copy. Look at that iconic cover. But enough wasting time. But thank you again for tuning into the last video store. I'm your host, Bud Haddonfield. I hope you love this year's May of the Dead. We're going to talk about a lot of fun zombie movies. Super excited. I'm rocking out with some anticipation. But enjoy your night, and I'll see you next time.
Michael Myers are the heroes of my past. Now the media is dying. Chucky and the zombies are all up in cemeteries.